Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School of Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Yeah. He said he used to have a howitzer on the end of his tail. What is up, everybody? Hello, good morning, welcome to the show. Hope everybody is having a beautiful, wonderful day today. It is your ever-loving Uncle Fish back again. It has been a hot minute because I was out for a little bit of surgery for a second. Had to get a crazy old broken tooth removed, which was awful painful and made it really hard for your Uncle Fishy to talk, of all things. And you know it's a bad thing if we can't talk. So anyway, I'm back now. Been practicing on some other people's shows so I could mess up there if I had trouble talking. Um, and what are we here for today, boys and girls? Well, we gathered together today. Have we just gathered together to watch me draw some pictures of KAAW? Well, yes and no, because today is also the day that we are going to be launching the mighty KAAW, the Cro-Magnon Issue 1, live on Kickstarter. You can get it by going to gomrfish.com and check it out. You can still sign up for the pre-launch for another couple of minutes before it goes live. And I just forgot I can make a ticker on here, can't I? Where is it? Ticker. There we go. Let me type in what's going to be on this ticker real quick. Oh, come on. Add. That's what I got to do. I got to add. Mighty KAAW is live on Kickstarter. www.gomrfish.com. You would be surprised how many people ask me how to spell fish. Oh, really? That's your name? How do you spell it? I spell fish the same way you do. That's how. And then invariably, after they ask me how to spell it, it's always, oh, really? How do you pronounce that? I'm like, literally, we both just said my name. Uh-oh, we've dropped down a few viewers. I'm going to give a second to let some of our friends join in before we launch the Kickstarter live because I don't want anybody to miss out on it. And we got some of our regulars that are always going to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning. What is up, Daniel Buck? Glad to have you here, man. Glad to see you. Hope you enjoy the show. Yeah, you would be surprised. And see, it doesn't seem like a weird name to me because it's just always been my name. It's short for Fisher, but nobody calls me Fisher but like cops if I get pulled over for speeding or something. Somebody calls me Fisher, that's a sure sign that you don't know me or I'm in trouble, one or the other. Been working on some sketches here because I'm gonna do a live sketch cover while we're watching the Kickstarter go live. And I'm trying to sketch out some ideas to see what anybody thought about it. Kind of thought about just having a big pose of him, kind of thought about having him menacing with the hands or a really cool face, or then I thought about maybe having him just hold out like a menacing blade, like he's fixing to kill you. I don't know. What do you think, Daniel? I don't get pulled over that often anymore. I used to get pulled over all the time. Oh, in high school, I got pulled over all the time because I was a thug in a small town, so I got pulled over for everything. Didn't matter if I'd done anything or not. But yeah, I was really used to getting pulled over, sir. I could tell you stories all day long. Um, hey, sir, do you know if Katie's going to be able to make it, or is she out saving the world this morning? Just want to check before, getting too far into this. While we're waiting, I was going to show everybody. You know your Uncle Fishy as the creative powerhouse writer and creator of Green Zone Life in the Blocks. Issues 2 and 3 are at the printer now, fixing to go out to all the backers from the campaign. And this are the prints of the brand new book, The Mighty Caw of the Crow Magnon. I'm gonna make a little tweak to the colors, but man, it came out so cool. It came out so nice. And we got cover A from your ever loving Uncle Fishy. Then we got cover B from Lee Gaston. I freaking love this cover. I He just killed it, man. He got the power, he got the energy, he got the whole 9 yards in it. And then we got the fancy painted cover C from your Uncle Fishy. Katie inspired me to have to well, she could be. Because just move School of Fish to my own channels because I got to do other stuff with it, and I'm going to be sharing one of the episodes on my Patreon and stuff. So I had to move it over to my own stuff so I could have some more freedom. But Katie inspired me to do this painted cover, and I really think it came out really well. I'm really proud of the way it came out. I mean, like I used to paint all the time, real painting on real canvas or walls or murals, but this is my first one digitally in I think ever really. I've never really tried doing just straight painted without like, black outlines and stuff. And then the piece de resistance, the what we're here for today, the sketch cover. I'm gonna I'm gonna illustrate this sketch cover today, and I need y'all's help. What should I put on this? What do you think I should draw on it? Um, like I said, I was working on a few different ideas. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I've hit on the right one yet or not, but we got some time to figure it out together. Um, Alrighty. Let's see. We have got 55 followers over on the Kickstarter page. I am super excited about this Kickstarter. You know what? I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm just gonna go ahead and launch the thing. Let's see. Let's go over here. Exit preview. Do, and launch project. All right. There we go. It is live, baby. It is live, and you can get it by going to gomrfish.com. Follow the link and go check it out. And let's hit it up, guys. Let's get it out there. Give it a share, please, dear Lord. Give it a share so that your friends can see it. Other people can get access to it because, man, the algorithm be working against us on just about everything, and trying to block anything that's got a link to it that I send out or whatnot. Man, I just paid a bunch of money just to show this episode to people that already liked my page, and it didn't even show it to everybody. I'm like, really? Come on. They liked the page for a reason. They liked it because they want to see what's going on. They followed it because they want to keep up with what's going on at Mr. Fish Comics. And here I got to pay you to get you to show it to them. Man, that don't seem fair. Alrighty, we got a whopping 0 backers so far. It's a hit, baby. All right, we're gonna take that off the screen and we're gonna start working on a good old sketch cover for the Mighty Caw. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've hit the right look yet or not. This is gonna be my very first sketch cover that I've done the Mighty Caw on, and I'm excited about that. I want it to come out awesome. I want it to be cool. Done many a sketch cover for Green Zone, but this is going to be my first one for Caw. And let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get any more exciting ideas before I get started. I kind of like just the big old face in the middle there. I'm wondering if maybe I could fit his hand and a blade in there too. Oh yeah, I can add music, can't I? I forgot. Sarah's not here handling all the cool stuff like half the shows I'm on. Oh, look at that. We got 3 backers already. Woohoo! 3 backers. $25. I wonder who the first backer was. Let's see. Will it show me? You can't find it when you search Kickstarter. Oh, good gracious. GoMrFish.com should take you right there to the page. Let me see. Let me get out and search for. If you type in KAAW for KAAW, it should come right up. Oh, it's 2 A's. That's your problem. Right? It's 2 A's in KAAW. Because, it's KAAW. Like, gotta be extra. And that makes it more difficult. Absolutely. Like spelling green zone is one word, but green zone is a different thing in my world than it is in our world. And so I made it one word, and that was a problem. But yeah, it's KAAW. That's the problem. Because yeah, it shows up there in KAAW for me when I search it. So anyway, let's see, where was I? There we go. Good deal. Glad you found it. I'm trying to see launch. Oh, Camille M. Abdullah. Looks like was the first backer. And Brad Arney was second. Let's see. Can I find Camille and get in touch with him? Are we friends? I don't know. I don't know how to get in touch with Camille. I don't know him like I do Brad. I'm thinking about giving away this sketch cover to the first backer, which I probably will still do. Oh, we're up to $40. Woohoo! Look at us go. We in the money. We in the money indeed. All right, let's start working on this sketch cover. I'm gonna give my pencil one more sharpen here. I just started using one of these fancy lead holders. Still kind of making up my mind about it. There's things I like about it, and I definitely like being able to get the colored leads easier and more regularly, because like trying to find blue mechanical pencil lead for the mechanical pencils that I normally use, the little click, 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 and little thin lead comes out. It's hard to find it. I think it's been discontinued. And, oh, bless your heart, Katie. I know that feeling. I've had nothing but trouble with that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I was getting these blue mechanical pencil leads that are almost non-repo blue. Not quite, but pretty close if you draw light enough, and it worked like a non-repo blue, as light as I draw. And I could get some sometimes, but it was usually like somebody's office supply store had closed out and they had a bunch of stuff in the closet that they put on eBay or something, and I would find them, and they were usually old and they were brittle and they break real easy. And I spent more time clicking my pencil to get more lead out because the tip would break off than I did really drawing anything. And these are bigger and stronger. I can get them in blue, I can get them in red, I can get them in any color I want. So I figured I'd give it a shot. They definitely don't break as easy, which is nice. But with the lead being so much thicker, if I don't keep it sharp, it has a much duller point than I'm used to working with. because I'm used to working with a fine point mechanical pencil. So a little bit of getting used to. All right, let's throw in some Mighty KAAW head here. And when drawing the Mighty KAAW, we got to have a tiny cranium because he is a Cro-Magnon. A Cro-Magnon. He's savage from another world, but he's still got a smaller cranium. Now I always draw his nose in just to get everything placed right and in the right spots. Katie's sending the textures. Oh, that's some awesome beach textures. That's amazing. I love that. Woo! We just jumped up. I bet you my wife just pledged because I just jumped up significantly. $115. Look at that. 5 backers. Alrighty. There we go. We're going to get there. We're going to get there indeed. It almost feels kind of unfair because my wife is like one of my bigger backers. She's so sweet and so supportive, and I just love her. Having been saddled with somebody in the past that was not sweet and was not supportive and was made everything in life more difficult, I appreciate and value her so much. That's the one thing I love about working digitally is, man, if I draw a really good face but it's the wrong size, I can just grab it and select it and change the size, hit the old transform tool and scale it down. But can't quite do that in regular pencil. There's a lot more erasing if I make a mistake. But, not the end of the world. Just, that's a nice time saver. Good morning, J-Man. Oh, yeah? I've drawn your character before for a project Carlos was doing. Carlos loves adding in the tiers to let his backers get in and do, have their characters in the book. And it's a fun part of the project. Sometimes you end up drawing a bunch of crazy stuff that people decide to stick in there. But man, it also has been challenging and led to some of the coolest stuff that I've done sometimes. Because, when it could be anything, it could be anything. And, whatever a backer wants to stick in there. So sometimes that can be some crazy stuff, and then trying to turn that crazy stuff into something cool and coherent can be an interesting challenge sometimes, but it's fun and it's led to some really cool images. Like, I know one dude wanted the attack rabbits from Monty Python and the Holy Grail in there, and it's this rather serious comic book and all these serious characters going at it, regal cosmic characters, and then dudes getting attacked by rabbits, and I got to figure out a way to make that all work together, and it ended up coming out really cool. I was proud of those pages and the way they came out. But when I first saw attack rabbits, I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? But it ended up becoming a really fun challenge. Oh yeah, I like adding the add-on slots in there for either, like, doing just a character drawing for somebody if that's what they want, because a lot of people like that. And a lot of people either, like, assume I don't have time for it, or I'm too booked up, and a lot of times I am. So I made a point of adding some slots in for getting, like getting a character drawn or getting like a full-on pinup or something. uh Give folks a chance on this Kickstarter to get on my schedule and get in there. Was supposed to be on the last Green Zone one, but I think the intern that was putting the Kickstarter page together forgot to get it in there, I think. But he did such a great job on the Kickstarter, I'm not going to hold a grudge about missing that. J-Man says, "KAAW. Ah, he said every one of us." Too bad I can't get Queen to do the KAAW theme song, man. That would be awesome. I tell you, picking Queen to do the music for the Flash Gordon movie was such a crazy choice, but it was so brilliant. Like, I never in a million years would have picked that, but man, those songs are so freaking awesome. Alright, what do you think? Can y'all even see that? I tend to draw pretty light, but it makes it easier for the erasing. We got a heck of an expression on his face there. Managed to fit the blade in. Big giant fat blade for his big giant hands. All right, J-Man's got his name showing up on the screen. What's up, John? Glad you're here. Yeah, it is a little hard to see, but also I don't want to have a bunch of red lines on there afterwards, so I don't want to go too dark. But basically, where is it? Basically, it's this one here with the knife sticking out, but the knife's a lot bigger because I drew it way too small in that one. All right, now I'm going to lighten it a little bit more, and I'm going to start figuring out the color, because I have never... Well, no, I take that back. I've done a couple very rough color sketches, very, very, very rough, when I was nailing down the look of some extra stuff in the book. And but I haven't picked, like normally when I go to shows and stuff, go to cons and whatnot, I have all these colors picked out already that I know, like, this is the color in my watercolor palette that I use for Virgil's skin tone, and this is the color that I use for their uniforms, and this is the green that I use. But my beloved wife bought me the Ahoo, a Wahoo, Wapadappadoo, Bing Bang Babaloo markers, and I left that color chart in my sketchbook. Oh, is this a one shot? How does it affect Green Zone? This one does not affect Green Zone, and it is not a one shot. This is going to be a separate continuing story. uh, that is just following Call of the Cro-Magnon. There are some tie-ins loosely, but they're happening, in very different places at very different times. But there is actually a little tiny bit of crossover. Sarah's saying, I still haven't trained myself to draw lightly when I work on paper. I leave dents. And of course, I have to erase a ton, so I destroy the paper and it's such a mess. Yeah. 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 I feel you on that. Good gracious. I wish I had that color chart that I made. Because the neat thing about these markers is they come with a color chart and you can fill it in with all the little stuff. I left it in my sketchbook in the other room. I'm going to text my daughter in the other room. Or you know what? I'm just going to call her because that'll be faster. Daniel asked earlier how I got the idea for it. It's a dream. I'm friends with Steven Butler. Used to work for Marvel. He's doing a bunch of stuff for Archie now. Does a bunch of covers for Lady Death. And he was sending me all of this stuff for the Untamed Realms Barbarian stuff that they're doing, and sending me all kinds of old stuff for, nostalgic stuff from back in the day, like the Flash Gordon serials. And I was trying to lay down and take a nap one day because I hadn't slept all night. And he was sending me all this stuff from Barbarians and this, that, and the other. And I lay down, and all of a sudden the idea of KAAW popped into my head. And I had no choice but to get up and draw him out because I was laughing at the Cro-Magnon name. And so now we're just going to have to start sampling some colors because she's not answering her phone because she's a teenage girl. And so I popped up with this idea in my head. I sketched him out. The very first rough sketch of him was almost the finished product. And by the next morning, I had like the first 20-something stories outlined and ready to go. A month after I woke up from that nap with that idea, I had a finished book sent to the printers. The Kickstarter was ready to go. And here we are. John says, I meant publishing schedule. Will you release one Green Zone and one Birdman book every few months? I tell you, one of the other things that I did in that month's time was I set up a Patreon account. Because honestly, I would like to move over from Kickstarter to Patreon if I can. Like, if I can get the fans to follow me over there, and use it like a subscription service, where you pay like a low monthly fee and you get every book that I put out. And in that case, I can put out a whole lot more books. Because like, if I didn't have to worry about running a Kickstarter for each one, I could knock out 10, 12 issues of KAAW, no problem, in a year, without question. And get a couple of Green Zones out every year too. Like, and you could just get those coming to you regularly for subscribing to it. It seems like a really good idea to me, but I get some people would be suspicious or be nervous because a lot of people in indie comics don't work as fast as I do. A lot of people have day jobs and like coach soccer and Cub Scouts and all kinds of other things, and have to spend time with the wife and have to have work-life balance and all that kind of stuff. And this is my full-time day job. So A, I get to put more of my day into it than a lot of people do. And B, I work really fast compared to a lot of people. And that's not a dig against anybody. That's just part of my neurodivergent brain and the way that it works. And, part of that is I go very, very fast. And, oh, that's way too dark. It's been working out pretty good for me so far. I would love to be able to... Thank you, J-Man. I appreciate that. Oh, that's a good one, but that's awful dark, too. But yeah, I would love to be able to just focus on putting out books, and then I could get a whole lot more issues out for folks if I didn't have to stop and run a Kickstarter, too. And I love Kickstarter. I love everybody that backs on Kickstarter. I love backing books on Kickstarters. I've backed, what is it? I don't even remember. Um, what is this profile? No, I backed 220, which doesn't seem like a lot, I guess. But I only found out that Kickstarter had comic books on it 5 years ago. So I appreciate you, Jay, man. You're the best. You really are the best. I love you, dude. Um, but yeah, I only found out Kickstarter had comic books on it um, like 5 years ago, right before I did my first issue, T-Man and Hyperstrike. Before that, I was completely unaware that they were on there. I just thought it was like people making movies or, trying to buy a house or, invent something or, just the random stuff people do. This is my first time working with some of these markers on a sketch cover because I usually do watercolors, but I'm going to start taking these markers with me, so I want to start getting used to them and figuring them out because I'm hoping eventually it'd make a lot less mess than working the way I've been doing does and not have to keep, water on hand. That's way too dark. So my one problem with this set is the colors on the top are very deceptive as to what the color inside looks like. And they're numbered fairly well to each other, but sometimes the numbering just goes kind of wonky too, and you kind of wonder, how did we get from here to there? No, that's not where we want to go. No, that's not it either. Let's try this one. See, that's deceptive based on the top. Alright, take those two, and then I need a color for his scars. That'll work. Alright, let's get those out of the way. Taking me a little getting used to on this to figure out, and I apologize, y'all gonna be here for my growing pains on this because I'm just getting started with these markers. But normally I would do watercolors on this, but yeah, man, the watercolors also, they can flat warp a book. And so I'm gonna give this a shot and see how this goes for me. So J-Man got that top tier, which means J-Man's getting a sketch cover too. So he needs to start thinking about what he wants on his. John says, I've been backing since 2007 and I'm not to 200. That's a lot. Well, I tell you, I made it a priority at one point. And I made it a priority because I didn't feel like I was backing enough books at the time, because like after I got started and I started working for other people that were running Kickstarters, illustrating their books and all of that, I realized, just how many people were out there making comics and backing comics and everything. And I realized after talking with some people, just how much things like how many books you've backed can have an impact on somebody on whether or not they want to back your book. And, for some people that backed a lot of Kickstarters and stuff back in the day when I launched my first one, and they saw that, oh, this cat hasn't backed anybody else's books. They were like, no, I didn't want to back it because you didn't back anybody else's. And at first I was a little mad, and then I was like, well, that kind of makes sense. Like, this is a community, and if you're not going to take part in the community and you're not going to back other people's stuff, why would I want to support yours? Like, I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of a, tit for tat kind of mentality to it. Like, I just want to back books that I dig, but also, like, you got to be supportive of the community and your friends. And so I made it a priority, and I set myself a budget every month to spend up to that amount. Like, I made it a priority that I was going to start spending $40 a month on Kickstarter, whether I had friends running Kickstarters or not. And so some months that even meant that, like, I would just go around at the end of the month, because I hadn't spent all my money yet, and I hadn't spent all of my $40 tiny budget, and I would just go around and just like back random books that were about to close out and needed a boost. And and that's when I learned how much, like, sharing a book can really help out, especially if somebody's struggling to get to the goal or whatnot. And so I set myself a budget originally to make me spend that much money each month. And then very quickly, as my clientele list grew and my friends grew and everything, it switched from being, I've got to spend at least this much, to, oh my God, how am I going to stick anywhere close to this budget and back all of my friends' awesome books that come out? Which is part of the reason that I'm such a big fan of digital comics and the digital tiers, because I've got like an entire short box full of comics from Kickstarter and stuff that are in my to be read pile that I don't know when I'm ever going to get to reading those. What is up, Danny J. Quick? Good to see you, my man. Glad you're here. But yeah, very quickly my budget went from I need to spend this much to support people on Kickstarter to, oh my mercy, how am I going to stick to just this amount and not go over? And now my budget's like $60. But still, with all the friends and stuff that I've got in the indie comics world, there's always somebody got a Kickstarter. Danny's got a Kickstarter going right now, him and Morgan Iverson. And, I had to get over and back that. And so now it's more about just sticking to that. But yeah, it added up quickly. Yeah, Sarah's launching later today with a comic too. What is it? Lucifer Licorice? Is that the name of the book? Feel free to drop your link in the comments there too, Sarah, so people can go sign up for that one, because that one looks like fun. I drew a piece of promotional art for that last night when me and D Fish faced off, fish against fish, on Sarah's show last night, and I'm man enough to admit D whooped my butt. She came by the fish name Anna. She is fast and good. She ain't playing around. She took them further than I did, but that's also why she beat my butt, because, man, she just went nuts on it. Oh, thank you, Marky. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad she liked it. I'd do about anything for Lori. That's the joy of making awesome friends in indie comics. Lori's actually the editor on KAAW and Green Zone here lately. And I started out, Chuck Pano was editor on the first issue of Green Zone, and I love Chuck to death. Man, Chuck's my boy. But Lori's like me, with her little ADD brain running a mile a minute, and she can just about keep up with the pages I send as an editor, and that was a big deal because I send a lot of pages quickly. Oh man, you ought to go over to the Facebook page and drop it in the comments, because it'll be an active link there, and people can click on it and go check it out. I'm a huge fan of anything Unlikely Hero Studios puts out. They don't put out anything that's not gold. And even the things that I accidentally slept on, like The Surgeon, man. And I don't know why I slept on it. Like, it had everything that I dig in a comic. I don't know if I just like missed what it was about when they were pitching it the first time or something, but yeah, I totally missed it when it first came out. And Lori sent me some issues to do a variant cover for her, and man, I fell in love with it. It is one of my favorite stories now. But yeah, anyway, back to your question, John, that I got off a track on. I am doing the Patreon too, and I'm hoping that eventually I can move over to just doing that. But even if I got to keep doing Kickstarters for everything, I'm gonna get Green Zones and KAAW out. The order I'm not 100% sure, and I was actually thinking about maybe letting the Patreon backers vote for like what the next book that I work on is, since they're going to be like getting to watch me work on it on stream and toss out ideas, and you know, I want to make it as interactive and enjoyable for people as I can. And it may be a colossal flop. We'll see. But I've been thinking about it for so long, and I'm at a point right now where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit thinking about things, and I'm just going to start doing the things that I've been thinking about doing for so long. And either they will work or they won't. And like even moving over to doing Green Zone and KAAW and stuff like that, that was a big move to take time from working on other people's stuff to making time to work on my own stuff, even though, nobody's paying for those books in the beginning when I'm making them. And that was scary because I got somebody else ready to pay me to work on their books right now. And, that's a house payment or the electric bill or whatever that could be done right now. Or I could invest that time in myself and my own properties that I think are good and people would like. And I finally had to get over that aspect of being afraid and say, like, you know what? I got to start investing in myself as much as I'm investing in everybody else's work and making their books a success. Because ultimately, I'm a storyteller, and that is why I do this. I don't do this just purely for the love of art. Like, I enjoy art, but I'm a storyteller at heart. That's why I do this. That's why I'm doing comics right now and not just, doing logos full time and making per hour what I can make per day doing other people's comics. There's nothing quite compares to the storytelling aspects and getting to portray the emotions and all that stuff, man. That's what I love right there. Sarah's got her link in the page. Y'all ought to go check that out too. Sign up for the pre-launch, because it's going to launch tonight. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. I'm going to be there with Sarah and Lori when they launch it and hang out. I really need a blue between these two, and I don't really have one. That might be where I need to go buy a very specific Copic marker. Which is the nice thing about my daughter working at Michael's now. She gets a discount. That's awesome. But they're still just a little bit prouder of their Copic markers than I am wanting to get one. But I've also been a broke artist my whole life, so I could be stingy with the money sometimes. Let's refresh the call page and see what that said. Oh, we're at 305. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Man, I wish the zoom worked on these old eyes. That's one thing. I married the sweetest, cutest little lady, and she's an optician. And she had to go and make me get glasses, acting like it wasn't normal to have a migraine every day when you get done working. And the glasses have worked wonderfully. And I don't get the headaches anymore when I'm done working for the day, which is nice. I will admit that. I'm man enough. But man, I miss being able to read my phone without glasses. I miss being able to read menus at restaurants without my glasses. And now I can't do those things anymore. And I'm like, yeah, the headache sucked, but not being able to read the menu at the restaurant kind of sucks a little bit more. And a big part of my problem is like I'm disabled, don't walk all that great, and with my Tourette's and everything, I'm pretty shaky. So like I gotta look at my feet when I walk to make sure that I don't trip and fall. And I can't really do that in my glasses. This is farsighted. So like I need them to work up close. I don't need them to see my feet on the ground. So it makes it hard for me to walk because I can't see where my feet are, or it's all blurry because it's too close from my glasses. So I don't wear them when I'm walking around town or, going to the restaurant. And I'm way too clumsy and destructive to just like walk around holding them. I'm liking this one. I'm liking this marker a lot. I had a weird choice to make when I was designing KAAW because his body hair is feathers. Like the wings are real, they're attached. The mask he wears only goes back to about here, and then the rest of that is just his hair. And so, and like you can see the feathers on his forearms and stuff clearly. But then I had to decide, was I going to give him like, shaggy body hair all over, black, stubby, thick feathers everywhere, or, what was I going to do? And I didn't want to do that. So I ended up just making his shoulders kind of shaggy and giving it like the feel of there's stuff there, but leaving it skin tone because I didn't want it to be bam, dark blue. Anybody have any questions about KAAW whoops, while we're making a mess? Like some kind of amateur? Like some kind of punk? Doesn't know what he's doing? Has no business being on an art stream if he's going to be dropping his markers everywhere like an amateur? That's not the direction that looked like that was going to go. Those are all the same. That doesn't help, Fishy. Find a lighter yellow. I'm a lot quieter than I normally am on the show today. This working in a different medium's definitely taken more of my attention I'm usually rambling about all kinds of weird stuff by this point. And no Kyron's here to get me off on a tangent about daylight savings time and institutionalized racism, sexism. Nobody to derail the conversation if Kyron's not here. This is looking fancy, Sarah says. Well, Sarah would know. So when it comes to fancy, I think Sarah. I forgot his old scar on his arm. Crazy fishy. Where was you at? Where was you at? Because you didn't have your head in the game, that's for dang sure. Silly old man. Woo, that's like fuchsia pink. We don't want to use that for gums. People would think we're crazy. I'm probably not going to have a good one. Bright rocket red. Lipstick red sure isn't the answer. Right. What are we thinking? Shows up better now, huh? Alright, now, which brush pen are we going to use here, Fishy? Alright, that's the one I like. Because the lid doesn't fit on the back of it, that's why. It's the more difficult pen to use. That's why I like it. That's why I stick to it. We are at 390 right now. Just about 30, 45 minutes into doing it, into running the show, the Kickstarter. Doing good. Hopefully, I will eventually end up being able to build my own personal brand up and not just the brand of everybody I work for, and get people coming over to my page. I was really surprised. I just kind of assumed when I did Green Zone that everybody that had been backing all the books I'd been doing for other people would come over and back, would say, "Oh, well, I like Fish's books. He does a great job." And I was really surprised when a whole lot of them people didn't come over. But I realized that I'd been doing other people's books for so long that nobody really knew what a fishy book would be like. Could I write? Because just because you can draw doesn't mean you can write. There's lots of artists that have proven that over the years. Writing is its own skill set, and just because you can make a book doesn't mean it's a book anybody wants to read. No offense to anybody, just a fact. And I realized that a lot of folks just didn't know what to expect out of a fishy book. I hope that Green Zone has kind of helped show them like what I'm about and what kind of storyteller I am. I've started getting messages from people that have gotten the digital copies now of Green Zone 2 and 3 and telling me how much they liked it, how much they enjoyed it, and that means a lot. I poured my heart and soul into those books, and I love them. And absolutely intend on keep making them. But I also got to diversify a little bit and try not to keep all my eggs in one basket and whatnot. And, Green Zone is absolutely a more deep, contemplative, socio-political type story of this crazy world that they live in, and being illegal just to exist as a genome, and having to earn your citizenship back as a cop or a fireman or in the military when you are not designed for that. You don't have that skill set, but if you want to make a better life for yourself, you got to risk it all. It's a very deep book. KAAW is very fun. KAAW is kicking ass and taking names and saving the princesses. There's not a whole lot of depth. There's not going to be a test at the end of it. There's not going to be a what did you learn from this moral to the story. It's just KAAW being a badass. And it is so much freaking fun to write. Will KAAW also be kicking princesses' ass and taking their names? You know what? Now that you mention it, I think we probably need to do that. He'll be taking ass and kicking names. the whole series of KAAW can be basically summed up in chewing bubblegum. I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of bubblegum. One of my favorite lines in any movie ever. Figure KAAW wouldn't say the B. He's too macho to say the first B. Double B's are fine. Double B's are macho. But singular first B's, nah, not macho enough for KAAW. And his mighty jaw. Can't say that. Wouldn't be prudent. But anyway, like I was going to say, before Kyron got me all distracted the way Kyrons do, the whole series of KAAW can basically be summed up in his catchphrase, KAAW falls to no man. There's some other variations of it depending on the scenario, but when it comes down to it, KAAW won't bow, KAAW won't submit, and KAAW refuses to fall to anybody else's hand. And he has earned his spot as the galaxy's biggest badass. And honestly, a whole lot of the time, if people would just leave KAAW alone, the problem would be over. There wouldn't be no static if you didn't, wouldn't be none if you didn't start none. But it's once you try and get KAAW to submit, you try and make KAAW bow down to you. You tell KAAW you're in charge. That's when the war starts, baby. And KAAW ain't lost a war yet. Well, I will say, you can absolutely see the tiny tremor in my hands that I still have, even with 30-something pills a day. It's a whole lot better than it used to be. The other nice thing about working digital is I can set the controls to smooth out my tremor. Is it cheating? Possibly. Maybe it's Maybelline. But it lets a guy that was stuck in a wheelchair for 15 years, unable to walk, talk, see, speak, it lets me make a living doing the thing I love most. So I don't care if you do say it's cheating. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Be able to make a living and provide for my family and tell stories, which is my greatest passion in life. So anyway, Kyron, how you doing? Since you're here now that we've already talked about you all that time before you got on the show, I'm sure you were probably out, you know, doing what rich people do, kicking the servants, and whatnot, normal, everyday, get up in the morning kind of things. Get your kids in the limo for school. What are you up to? I love giving Kyron a hard time. Because Kyron is one of the biggest shit stirrers I've ever seen in my life. He loves stirring shit up. And a part of me deeply admires that about Kyron. And part of me is a little bit afraid because I've gotten caught in it a couple of times. It's always fun, but it can be scary in the midst of it. Oh, Kyron was out there backing for them high rich man numbers. I got you. They're probably not even showing up yet. It's probably because Kickstarter doesn't have that thing to roll over once somebody donates $1 million yet. So, it's only showing up as $390 because Kyron's pledge hasn't gone through yet. It's got the servers all freaking out. I appreciate that, Kyron. Thank you. I'm going to name my giant solid gold swimming pool I'm going to buy after you. I was going to say it's on my Patreon page, but actually that level's on my OnlyFans account. Yeah. Mr. Fish Comics, go check it out. I should have put the $2,000 tier in there. Show a little leg. So what do y'all think? I kind of think this blue needs to be a little bit darker. I don't have just the right shade of blue in these. At least I haven't found it yet. But I can always add a little bit more to it because this is safe. And it didn't really come through. Only a little bit of the skin poked through, just a hair. The book came out cool. For those of y'all that were watching the show, y'all saw us lay out that spaceship. I'm trying to get it without the glare on it. Turn it light a little bit. Saw us lay out that spaceship on the show, School of Fish Live, and built it out of these guys right here. I had the utility knife and then the screwdriver as like the engine and just kind of set it inside there. Well, I can't do with the reality, but just an example of how you can take regular things from around the house and end up coming up with really cool designs and then added all the extra little doodads to it. I'm going to do a whole show about the whole texture that I put on here because I love it and it came out so easy and I've used it in so many projects since. Oh, I'm on both, Kyron. You can find me on both. You're probably the only one that can because like you gotta have that American Express Black Card and whatnot to even get on there and check them out. Like that's not just for everybody. That's only for the rich of the rich. Box, get out of my way and quit tripping over my wheels. Alrighty. We have been on for almost an hour and a half. We are almost at $400 on the Kickstarter, um, which is pretty awesome. We're creeping up to 25% after an hour of being on. I didn't make the card. I didn't make it. Because black's cool, man. Can't nobody lie about that. I don't know. I didn't make the card. That's just the way it is, man. I didn't make the institutional racism, Kyron. I'm just living in a world of it, full of it that pisses me off. That's all I'm doing. I'm not the man. I'm just the man standing next to the man. I'm not even the man standing next to the man. I'm the man standing next to the man standing next to the man. You daylight savings people are all the same. See, trying to stir it up, trying to get me off the rails. I'm sitting here trying to launch a book so I can pay my rent, feed my children, and Kyron's trying to get me canceled from going on a tirade again. I just moved this show over to my own channels and he's trying to get me shut down. That's Kyron for you. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching me do that. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I am going to be moving one of my live streams, the Thursday show, I'm going to be ending up moving over to Patreon. And I think I'm going to add a $1 tier in there. Just if somebody wants to come over and join in on that one, only be $1. Make it easy for people that don't want to get books, don't want the digital copies of the books. You can sign up for $5, get a digital copy of every book I put out. You don't have to worry about filling long boxes or buying bags, and just get books, boom, 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 one after another. But until the Patreon's going well enough that I can just put my books out there, I'm going to keep doing some Kickstarters too. And right now, you can go to down there. The Mighty KAAW is live on www.gomrfish.com or KAAW with 2 A's. And I'll buy that for $1. You have no idea how often I say that in daily conversation, and people just look at me like I'm stupid with no idea why I just said that. I think I've only had somebody recognize the quote like probably twice in my entire life. But I keep saying it because that is stuck in my head for the rest of my life. I'll buy that for $1. And it's just, God, I love it. I love it. And that's the thing I love about the interwebs, because I get to meet all kinds of other weirdos like me out there. The Sarahs, the Katies, the Kyrons, if you will, the Dees and the Lories and the Eric Bennetts and the Tony Clappers and the Michael Watsons and all the weirdos out there. You Danny J. Quicks, you might say. And getting to meet lots of other weirdos just like me that all dig the same kind of thing, love making stories, love making awesome comics, and all out there chasing our dreams. It is so nice to be able to be surrounded by people finally in my life that get it and are going after their dreams and are hustling and trying to make it happen. And instead of being surrounded by your average dull-eyed sheep that's just going through the motions. And I'm not saying a political sheep. I'm just saying people that aren't striving for anything more. People that are fine going with the flow and staying a part of the herd. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just too weird and too unique and too tall and too twitchy to not stand out. And, I got too many stories to tell to just, sit around punching a time card every day, if anybody would hire my twitchy butt as it is. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm glad that I know you. I'm glad that I've got you as my friends. I'm glad that we got to spend this time together today. And I'm gonna peace out and go because my wife's fixing to get home with my poor little weenie dog who's been gone for a week and a half because he just had surgery, but one of the other dogs went into heat and the vet said to separate him so that he didn't hurt himself in the recovery process. And so my dog and my wife are fixing to be back, and so I'm gonna go love on both of them. I love y'all. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. And if you get a chance, GoMrFish.com. Give it a share out. Let people know that you backed the book and that it's awesome and that they should go check it out too. It would be a huge help to me. I love you guys. Thank you. And I will see some of y'all Thursday, and I'll see everybody back Tuesday. Peace out.